Fantasy football season is an eighth of the way complete, and after a full week of games, obviously plenty to talk about on the waiver wire. I'm Dustin. This is your week 3 waiver wire. Before we get into it, I do shoot these on Monday before the Monday night game, so if something crazy happens, keep that in mind. And thank you to our sponsor, mybookie.ag, the most trusted sports book on the web. Their motto is, you play, you win, you get paid. Click on the link in the description, use promo code SMACK, you get up to 100% sign-up bonus when you sign up. All right, let's talk about running backs. Now, I can't talk about everyone on the list, but I have ranked them kind of pretty much in order of how I would pick them up if they are available in my league. Some things depend on your settings and everything, but they're pretty much in order. But I can't talk about everyone just because it'll take too long. But let's talk about Chris Carson. Hopefully you watched last week. I liked him as a pickup last week. He's still only owned in 40% of leagues, but at this point, I think he's the one to own out there. I mean, Lacey didn't even play. Rawls just, I've always been a big fan of Rawls, but the guy just can't stay healthy. And I think Carson's going to get a real chance to just run away with this job, so he needs to be picked up in all leagues at this point. And then Buck Allen, only owned in 60% of leagues. West is a little bit banged up. And Allen has been taking advantage. He had a lot of opportunities. He had a solid week. And at this point, as long as Danny Woodhead's on the sideline, which is going to be for a long time, Allen could have value. So, I still kind of see him as a temporary solution because if and when Woodhead comes back, I think Allen will take a back seat, but he could definitely help you over the next couple months. Let's talk about the Redskins situation. As of right now, we haven't had an update on the Rob Kelly injury, but because of that, you got to be looking at Chris Thompson and P. Ryan. Now, Thompson I have over P. Ryan just because I think even when Kelly comes back, Thompson's still going to be a big part of that passing game, and he's just proving to have flex appeal every week at this point, only under 30% of leagues, and he did have a solid season last year. So Chris Thompson, I think, is the real deal, even in standard leagues, deeper standard leagues. I think he needs to be considered, but P. Ryan should get picked up as well. Just because, coming into the year, we did think P. Ryan had a legitimate chance to take over that starting job. So if he gets a chance for a week or so to show us what he can do, he might end up being the starter. I want to talk about Jalen Richard with Oakland. He had a big game week 2. If Marshawn Lynch goes down, I think it will be a mess between Richard and Washington. But at this point, it does look like Jalen is going to be the one that probably holds more value. So if you're looking for a handcuff for Lynch, I would probably say Richard's the one that you want to go with. But again, I think it will kind of turn into a messy committee, but he's definitely shown some explosiveness and is a guy to consider. One thing I want to talk about for Matt Breida with San Francisco. He's the Thursday night game. One of my favorite things to do on a Thursday night game is pick up a high upside handcuff and just see if the guy gets hurt. Drop your kicker, pick up Breida, and just see if Hyde gets hurt. It rarely works, but when it does, it's really nice. You look like a genius. He's only on 5% of leagues, so I like that move. And a lot of times you can get the same kicker back if you want because you're dropping them early enough to where they can clear waivers before Sunday. So I don't mind that move. And then McGuire for the Jets. The Jets keep losing, which is very likely. What do they have to run with Forte and Powell for? They're older backs. And McGuire looks to be potentially their future, so they might want to just see what they have with McGuire. He got involved a little bit more week 2. He's looked pretty good. He was solid in college, so I think he's someone that could potentially have value. If you're just looking for a high upside running back for your bench, I like him. Let's move to receivers. J.J. Nelson, at this point, we need to start giving this guy a little bit more love, only owning 20% of leagues. We found the end zone week 1. It was just kind of like, we'll see if he keeps being focal point in that offense. But after 2 weeks of a touchdown, I think at this point, we got to consider him potentially, low-end wide receiver 3. He showed flashes last year, so J.J. Nelson, I think, needs to get some love in some leagues. Then the Jacksonville situation with Hearns and Lee. I mean, obviously with Robinson out, there's going to be a lot more targets to go around, and with the Jags playing from behind a lot, I think they're going to get a lot of junk yards, be decent guys to grab in PPR leagues. Then my next group, I want to talk about the Cleveland situation. You know, Corey Coleman owners, I'm sorry, but it looks like he might be the next Kevin White. Just keeps getting hurt, can't stay out on the field. Higgins looks like an interesting pickup, only owned in 5% of leagues. He played a lot of snaps week 2, and he looks like he might benefit the most. And I'm putting Josh Gordon on here just because there has been some whispers of Gordon maybe trying to get back in the league. So, you know, if you're in a really deep league or maybe some type of deep keeper league or something, just keep very close eye on the reports because, I mean, Cleveland at this point is in desperate need of a receiver, so that might happen, but we'll see. One quick thing with FanDuel, a quick shout out to ET Rocker, 146.9 points week 2, won our Beat the Experts. I finished in the money, I got 11th, but not good enough to take home the prize. But get into our league. Thank you for everyone that's been playing in the league. We still need more people. We're having to open it up to the public at noon to get like the last 20 people or so. It's a $5 league, and if you need a little bit more incentive to sign up, if you click on the link in the description, you sign up, deposit $10 or more, you get a free year subscription to the digital Playboy magazine, and you also get a free entry into the Sunday Million. So click on the link in the description, sign up, play the Sunday Million, play in our game. The link to that is in the description as well. And you can win the cash prizes just like you do in any tournament, but you also win a sweet t-shirt. So let's keep moving on. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks. Carson Wentz and Trevor Siemian are 2 of the top 3 quarterbacks so far this year. So that should just show how kind of crazy this start of the year's been. But we need to start respecting them. Those offenses are looking good. You know, even in 10, 12-team leagues, I think these quarterbacks need to be considered if you're not happy with the production out of your quarterback. And then Mitchell Trubisky, I don't think it's going to be too much longer where they stick with Glennon. I mean, they got to see what they have with Trubisky. If the Bears keep losing, I think they got to throw him in there. And at any type of 2-quarterback league, I think it's time to pick him up. Tight end, I put a few more on here this week just because with, oh my gosh, you had Reed, Graham, Eifert, Gronk, Olsen all get hurt this week. So there's going to be a lot of people looking for a tight end just in case their tight end doesn't play. Obviously with the Olsen owners, he's not playing. But I want to talk about Evan Ingram. Again, I shoot this before the Monday night game, but I really think he showed me enough week 1 where I think he's very interesting and could crack the top 10 in terms of tight end this year. So I do think he's worth a look. And then we got Jared Cook and Ed Dixon. Dixon's going to be the one that takes over for Olsen. You know, I don't, especially at tight end, it's not one of those things where the starter gets hurt and then the guy that comes in gets the same amount of targets. I mean, obviously Ed Dixon isn't as talented as Olsen, but he's talented enough to maybe be, you know, a decent streaming option if you have issues with your tight end. Defense, I got 2 for you, and you're going to see this a lot with whatever team's playing, Cleveland and the Jets. You know, if it's any type of decent defense playing those 2 teams, they're not a bad pickup and play for the week. So I like the Colts and I like the Dolphins this week for pickup and play defenses. So that's my week 3 waiver wire. If you like this shirt, get on to sneakies.com. You can click on the link in the description for that. If you got questions, post them in the comments to this video. We're going to answer as many as we can. Good luck on the wire this week.